Let's get some answers to this career concern that has been raised by a mentee. So this person works as an engineer, I believe a broadcast engineer in a Christian media house, and they are facing a couple of issues and they needed support and guidance for these issues that they are sort of facing. So a couple of things they raised, three major ones to be honest, here, and probably one more along the lines of changing their field. So the first one is unclear expectations, which is basically that it is not clear what they should actually be doing, and it looks like they are required to move from team to team and to just walk all over the place. And the second one is limited engagement in terms of like strategic things, and they are not being called to do strategic things, and decisions are being made for them and they're not included in it. And the third one is the way the schedule runs is in a shift situation where they don't get to meet all of their co-workers at the same time, and because they are not as visible due to these schedules, it feels to nobody really sees the impact of the work that they do. And the last one is they're just basically thinking, should I change my field because of that? Now, the first thing I'm going to say right now is that, look, you need to understand your why, and your why as to why you're working there and why you are in that field to start with. If you do enjoy it, if it's a field that you honestly enjoy, if it is a piece of work that you do enjoy and you would sort of like to continue to do it, I mean, why would you need to change away from that field because you are experiencing some challenges? So it's like, I mean, being sick, for instance, and you kind of know what the issues are. So if you've been diagnosed, you know what the issues are, but you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to change my hospital. That does not really deal with the issue that you're going through. You need to pay attention to like what is the issue that you need to deal with and deal with those issues, because irrespective of the next place you go, if you don't understand thoroughly the issues that you're going through and you don't understand how to approach it, you will continually feel like there is a problem and you continually face those problems. So you need to address the problems. So the first thing around unclear expectations that I would say to this person is this, that you should ask for the expectations of you to be formalized. So you can get into a call with your manager, you can get into a call with your supervisor, whoever that is, and say, can we clarify what my duties are especially? And when you're having that conversation, you're not having the conversation from the angle of you need to clarify for me because I don't want to be involved with anything that does not have to do with me. Because if you go that route, they will be defensive and they will kick back and you will continue to have that issue. But I want you to have that conversation from the perspective of, that is when you're talking to them, to say, look, I really want to give my best to you and to this job, and I want to make sure whatever it is that I'm doing, it is top notch. So, and I also want to make sure that I am doing the right kind of work for you that sort of sorts everybody's pain out. So would you be able to tell me especially what you need me doing? These, and if you want to take the conversation forward, you can also say, so you should do a meeting with them, you can say to them, say, this is what I think the expectations of me are. Would you be able to correct me where I'm wrong, fill in the gaps for me? What exactly would you expect of me? Obviously, I would expect in a proper organization for this sort of conversations to happen at least once every year, where you sort of set the tone, you set your goals, you agree your expectations, especially if it's the same team, you're working with the same boss. But if you happen to up around projects, then that will happen multiple times a year because you just really want to know what is expected of you per project. So that meeting needs to happen, and what you need to do is post that meeting, you need to document the outcomes of the meeting. That absolutely needs to happen. Now, once you document that, everybody sort of knows that you have formalized what is expected of you. Now you can go to town and do exactly what is expected of you. So when it comes to unclear expectations, and look, to you, the expectations may be unclear, but to the person who expects you to do work, the expectations of you may be clear. Even though it looks like they want you to be hopping around departments and just help where help is needed, to them it may look like, well, it's not as though you're breaking your back, you're still doing your contractual hours. So if I need you to move around departments, well, it is what it is, right? Because obviously you need to clock in your hours. So to you it may look like the expectations are not clear, but to them they kind of have a clear understanding of what they need you to do, or maybe not. So until you sit down and have that chat with them. And look, this ties me back to your second concern, which is limited engagement, because you said they don't include you in conversations and when decisions are being made. Now let me tell you this, and I'm going to be as clear as possible, as clear as day, and I'm going to tell you something you may not like to hear. If you really want to be involved in the conversations and in the decisions and in those top level conversations, you need to be involved with more. It wouldn't be your, oh, I'm a broadcast engineer, so I'm just going to focus on my machine and I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do, right? It will be more. Because you have shown interest in more strategic things, then it means you must be more interested in how the business works in totality. And I'm not saying you should go and break your back. I'm just saying that even just showing interest in what other guys within the business, what they do, to obviously it's not just your broadcasting that makes the whole organization. There are bits and pieces, things other people do that you don't really know about. So even if it's just being part of some of those conversations, from like just seeing what some people do, lending a helping hand there, lending another helping hand there, you kind of have a full view of what's going on around the organization. And I work in a place as well, so this is not something I don't do. This is me telling you, other than my normal contractual day work that is on my contract, there are other things I do to support the business, because I also want to see the business from like the full perspective. I want to be able to help with coaching junior members. I want to be able to help with tutoring, with teaching new people coming on board. I want to be able to help when there are social things going on. I want to be able to, even whatever capacity of the business that I am able to lend my hand. I feel like I have the skills, so I'm able to do that. Now, because I have done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, by the time there's an opportunity to bring someone on board to have broader conversations beyond your day-to-day tasks, you will be the right person that will be called to have those conversations, just because you know a thing or two about the other areas. So you can't just say, oh, I don't just want to do my day job, and in the same breath say, oh, you want to be involved with strategic conversation. You need to understand what you are having those conversations about. So you need to sort of think about how to make yourself more valuable than you currently are. And I'm not saying you're not valuable, I'm just saying if you want to have those strategic conversations, you need to start thinking more broadly about how you want to be involved more within the business. Now, when people ask you to do more as an employee in an employee-employer arrangement, a lot of people think that the employer is trying to take advantage of them. And I tell my mentees, and I am not wrong, and I know I'm not wrong in saying this to my mentees, that your work works more on you than you work on it. So to you, it may be an additional task, an additional item. Oh, they just want me to do this one more. Oh, they just want me to do this one more thing. But every time you step up to do those things that you had not done before, that is value being added to you. When you pack your bags and you leave an employer and you go somewhere else, you would then begin to realize how immense, how fantastic you've grown across the years, how much value, how much skills that you've built across the year. So I don't want you to feel like you're being used. I want you to feel like you are using your employer to get the desired learning that you need to get across all sort of opportunities, across all available departments and units and whatever processes, systems, whatever is going on there. You just need to show interest. Again, it may look like your employer is trying to use you to do the job of 2 or 3 people, whatever. I mean, it gets to a point where it's clearly a case of being used, but you would know when you get to that point. But you just being involved, interested, having conversations here and there, you know, supporting teams, especially when you have the when you have the time to do that, I think you should do it. I think you should put yourself forward and support as much as you can. It is the value that you're learning from those that matter, from those processes and those situations that matter. Okay, so you have said that your shift schedule does not allow you meet other team members, and as such your impact is not really felt, and that is something that is quite outside of your control to a large extent. But at the same time, there are things you can do, there are tips and tricks, things you can do to make sure that you continue to be top of mind for people. And one of this is this: find a way to document the work that you do in such a way that even though you're not there physically, your work speaks for you. So for instance, as you're doing I don't know how your organization operates, but don't do orally what you can also document and share with more people. So for instance, you see an issue, you are like, I think I have an idea on how we can solve this issue. Instead of just walking to someone and just talking orally to that person, you can put it in an email and share with as many people as you think are stakeholders in that situation and share it with them. You can do that. So find a way to communicate your value up front and to as many people as you can communicate your value to. Now, even when you are on shift, make sure that it is clear that you're there. You're not just, I'm on shift, I've come to work, just focus on what you're doing. You're not walking the floors, you're not talking to other people, you're not, having those nice breaks with people, going for tea with people, you're going for drinks, whatever it is. Or you're not even part of we're having a full organization, we are having a full fun day for the whole organization. Make sure that you're there, every opportunity. And the funny thing about this is because of the way your organization work, the opportunity to work with people, the opportunity to merge and to have nice time with people and to communicate your value to people shrinks by the day, because it is a shift kind of situation, and some people maybe also be working hybrid and all of that. But once you see that opportunity, maybe there is a large meeting being called, make sure your voice is heard, make sure you're documenting things that you're doing and you're sharing to as many people as you need to share it with. Make sure once there's an opportunity to do a teams away day, a fun situation, if that happens in your organization, then by all means make sure you're there. If it does not happen, you can try to talk about it, like, oh, let's do a team party, or let's whatever, or let's do teams games, whatever that is, such that you can continue to pitch your value. Use those opportunities to pitch your value. Okay, so you were thinking about, oh, because of these three situations that you have raised, that I have provided guidance on some things you can do about, you're thinking about, because of what you're going through, if it is okay for you to change your job and change your field. You can change your job, but when it comes to transitioning, these issues that you have laid down are not enough for you to transition. You may just think about finding maybe a more suitable work environment that can help you. So there's some work environment that if you go into them, automatically your concern one is out the door, because they like to be clear about what is expected of you part-time. Like if you're working with me, for instance, I will make sure that I am clear with you what I expect from you per task, not even as a whole year, per task, per project, per situation, per conversation. I am clear with you what I expect, so that it doesn't leave you going to town and wasting everybody's time. Okay, so I would say if you want to pursue product management, project management, product design, if you have a flair for those, nothing stops you from accumulating those skills, finding opportunities that work and all of that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's just because of these three things that you have listed that you want to do that, then I doubt that that is a strong enough why and a strong enough conviction for you to change your whole career path. So what I would say is maybe think about all of these things I've said you should do, start doing them, but also think more broadly about, are there other organizations out there that I can join that as an offshoot of the fact that they have more established process and systems, some of these issues that I have is just going to go out the door anyways. So think about that. then think about, okay, what other skills can I bring on board? Another thing I like to say, especially in this day and age, is think about how you can create something for yourself as well. You're a broadcast engineer. Hopefully you understand and you know how to do your work well. Think about how you can also begin to create. It can be you teaching what you know to people, to those who are just upcoming broadcast engineers. So think about, because usually, another thing I've noticed really from my perspective of mentoring hundreds and hundreds of professionals is that a lot of people feel unhappy at work because they don't have something more exciting going on with them outside of work, and this may be quite tricky. So if you build something outside of work that you thoroughly enjoy, that joy from within you, you are able to bring that to work, and some of these issues may become non-issues eventually. So I want you to think about that as well. So instead of thinking of changing your field entirely, why don't you think about, okay, within this field, what can I create for myself that can be helpful? It can be you training new software, new broadcast engineers. It can be you showing up every day, creating content about what you know. It can be just anything that gives you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy that probably you may think is missing on your own job. So those are the sort of conversations, those are the sort of answers that I will give, or that I've given to you right now, and I think will help you show up better at work, resolve some of these issues that you're having, and I hope that this will sort of come in handy for you. But no, thank you very much for joining me in this one, and see you in the next one. Thank you.